Good morning, fellas.
And I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. Jay's got a better beard than I do.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I'm not brushing it enough or not using
Yeah.
enough product.
Well, I knew I was going to be on camera. I had
I
to
got
comb it
you.
out a bit.
Yeah, yeah, I have
Well,
to comb it out.
look, Jay. I gotta tell you, I got like 3 of them within arm's reach here. I got yelled at when I was a guest on somebody's podcast. My digital media manager saw it. She goes, "You fucking brushed your beard for an hour." And I was like, all right, got to put them out of arm's reach. And of course, they're back.
It's funny.
Anyway.
JClay, welcome, man.
Thank you.
How you doing, brother?
Here.
Yeah. It's fun to have you. We are excited as always to talk to people. We have we got a cool little playground here where we just kind of have fun conversations, no agenda, but they always end up being interesting. So let's kind of get into it, huh?
Let's go.
So yeah, man, like how'd you get to where you're at today? Like what's the quick story there? Doesn't have to be too quick. We got an hour.
Yeah, we got time. Take your time.
Yeah, we got time. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a spiritual rap artist. I help people heal fast through music, but real music that jams. My main medium is hip hop, a little bit of R&B. And how I got here is a funny story. So
See,
I was
See?
I was your normal up and coming rapper. I rap with the group, with the trio. I was your normal egoic rapper, so to speak. And we were doing all the right things that they said we should do to make it, but crazy things kept happening when we were getting real close. Like for an example, one of our goals was to make it on the radio. And a program director said, "Oh, we got you. We're putting you in rotation. You won this contest. We got you." Then the next day they get fired. What? This is crazy.
Wow.
So something like that happened at a similar radio station. This one was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then the program director died after he said he'll put us in rotation. Right, exactly. Like I can't do anything about that. I can't plan for that.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna put you in rotation. Just because you said that to me.
Fuck off. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't have the power to do that, but just
You
in
are
case.
officially
I want you to know
not
I would
in
like
our
to not be
rotation.
fired or die.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, and so it was one of these things that's like, okay, it made me go within, because it's like, okay, I couldn't have planned for that. There's nothing I'm doing wrong. I didn't do anything to cause either of these things. And so each time I went deeper and deeper for answers, I went within, and I knew that there had to be something more. I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. I just kind of went along making adjustments where I saw fit. So that kind of led me to my thoughts to see, like, could my thoughts have played a role in this? Like, could I be sabotaging myself in some way? And one of the changing thoughts that kind of changed my life was, I don't know if y'all heard the saying, watch your thoughts for they become your words, watch your words for they become your actions. Sure. Actions become your habits, habits become your character becomes your destiny. I really looked at that and analyzed it. And for a while I was like, okay, I'm just going to be silent, because I wanted to see what my words were saying. I wanted to see what I was thinking. And I saw times where I was affirming things that I didn't want in my life. Not that I wanted anybody to die or that, but
Sure.
Just little things. And but again, time went on. Then I found a book called A Course in Miracles, which is like, it's said to be channeled by Jesus. And when I read it, I accepted it as its truth. I couldn't find any holes in it. I was applying the wisdom myself, and I was seeing results. I'm like, this is amazing. This is everything I ever wanted. And I was always on this track, but it was like I was just missing a few core pieces that A Course in Miracles outlined. And then from there, I was like, man, I can't make the same type of music I've been making. Not that it was bad or anything. It just wasn't. It just wasn't complete toward what I wanted in life. And so I kind of deleted old songs that were good, and here I am. So yeah.
Oh, hey man, you know what's funny about the Course in Miracles? The book itself is printed like a freaking Bible.
Yeah.
The paper is the same. The binding is the same. It's really interesting. And that comes up, man, we were talking about power versus force with Zen, right? So power versus force is another one. It's like the scale that you can calibrate how, I guess, somebody falls on the Enlightenment scale. And they talk about Course in Miracles in there, and they talk about people doing the Course in Miracles work and not actually being affected by negative images, right? They're scanning their brains while they're showing them certain things. And this whole group kind of I guess I'm going to use the word transcends that. Man, we keep going like more and more spiritual esoteric.
Yeah,
with these
I was
shows.
just saying we've
like-
actually talked about this a few times now. That book has come up a couple times.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny, Jay. You said something that we talked about literally yesterday, and we've talked about it probably 50 times on the shows. Is that if you're quiet, the answer kind of just reveals itself, right? And it doesn't really matter if we're talking about a religion's framework or a spiritual framework or just a professional framework. It feels like it's always the answer, right? Like, shut the fuck up long enough to get the right answer, right? That's it. It's as basic as that.
And it works not even from just, from a spiritual answer, but just from other people. Like, people will tell you so much if you're just quiet around them. I don't know if people can't stand the awkward silence, but it's amazing just what people will share with you if you're just sitting quietly.
Yeah. Or you could have a podcast. That works too.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's it'd be weird if we just looked at each other for an hour.
Yeah, it definitely would. So, Jake, let me ask you a quick question here. Were you spiritual before this, or did this sort of bring you down that loop a little bit? Like, were you spiritual as a child? Like,
and then was that religious spiritual? Or
yeah, exactly. Good call. Yeah,
yeah.
So I was kind of spiritual. I didn't know it wasn't religious really at all. So just to give you a background, I can kind of remember being a child, like a 4-year-old, and feeling like I was all knowing. Like, not that I knew information, but I was just so content. Like, I had this thing about me that I noticed how people looked at me like, yeah, I know. And I don't know how to explain that. But then somewhere along the lines, fear crept in, doubt crept in, and I became, what people would call a normal person. And so I found myself always, I was fearful a lot as a kid in just different situations. I grew up in Chicago. Not that has any bearing on it, but I would always go to God, like, all right, God, I'm scared. Help me get through this next step. And God would give me strength. And so I felt bad at one point, like, man, I'm always going to God when I'm down and scared and fearful. Let me learn about God. I didn't know where to start, so I started with the Bible. I started reading it just on my own, and I noticed contradictions and things that people that went to church were saying and what was in the Bible. And I'm talking to people about this, like, okay, this says this, but y'all are saying this. What is it? They're like, no, you can't ask those questions. That's
you were wildly popular, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't have this with everyone, because when I started having it, people didn't like it. People shied away from it. But I just kind of, just internalized it in the sense that I was like, well, the answers will come. I'll figure it out later or something. And so I was always good at heart, meaning like I didn't try to do anything against the big rules, you would say, if that makes sense.
I think I'm tracking. Because like, for me, I grew up in a Catholic school household, and like, I was always a square peg in a round hole with that paradigm, like, it never really worked for me in general. And so I always like to hear other people's version of the story, because, I still have family members that are very religious, and it's awkward. I mean, one family member in particular, she's like, well, you do believe, right? And I'm like, not really sure what the right answer is here.
You know what, man? Questions don't do well in any organized religion. You're never gonna be the good guy if you're asking questions. Like, hey, do we really believe that? Like, is that really how it happened? No, that's not. Religion is it's another system. It's an organization that it has an agenda.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's about all I got.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. So anyway, you're figuring shit out, man. Like, you're doing your thing. Like, what happens next?
So I guess religiously speaking or spiritually speaking, I kind of had a theory. So my theory for a while was we're made up of like 50% good, 50% evil. And I was like, man, God is so good that he worked with his mortal enemy to create Earth. I thought like Earth and humans were the combination of both, and that
we just had this fucking conversation like last week too. It's fucking nuts. It's like you were listening or something. That show's not even.
If he starts talking about orbs in Egypt,
But so I was thinking that, and I was like, man, we both are kind of vying for our side. Like, are we going to go good? Are we going to go bad? Or just be in the middle? And I was like, until we actually choose a side, we'll never really be happy. I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna choose good because I don't want to be in pain and fearful and all of that. But that was the stance I took for a while. That was my belief for a while. And then, like I said, like one of the ways A Course in Miracles kind of healed that that misalignment or misbelief was all there is good. And you're like, what do you mean all there is good? Well, we clearly see bad all around. But and I guess the way I quantify it is like ones and zeros, binary. Like one is all there is. Zero kind of represents, zero doesn't exist, but it represents not one. So if one is all there is, what's not one? And so we start calling not one a thing, zero. And we start living our lives according to if it's real. And that's how all of these illusions, so to speak, can be.
That's an interesting take on it. I don't think I've ever actually heard that before. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Actually, I gotta chew on that. I gotta chew on that one for a second.
On that one there for a minute.
No, because we do have this sort of fetish with labeling things, don't we? Like it's got to be something. Like
and it also always seems to be binary, right? It's either this or that, right?
Even though the human experience is rarely one or the other, even if it is mostly one, it's never like all of one. You know what I mean? Like it's all kind of like. So it is kind of funny that we have this sort of built-in gradient, and yet we always want things to be one or the other, right?
Right.
We see this in politics all the time, right? My friends are always like, "Oh, you have a thing because you're this party or that party," and it's like, well, just because I disagree with something here doesn't mean I'm the other thing. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that at all.
Yeah, and it's almost like we've been programmed to do that, and it gets worse and worse as time goes on, right? Like if I'm on this team, this is the way this team functions, right? It's not like I can have a different thought.
Well, and you see this in conversations too. I mean, I think one of the unique things about this show with us is we get to have conversations where everything's a gradient. Whereas in my non-podcast life, if you say like, oh, I'm going to the gym, and then you don't go to the gym one day, the people are like, oh, you skipped the gym. What the fuck? You know, and I'm like, well, I mean, like that's a very binary way of looking at this equation now, isn't it? Right? Like it's everything's so like right or left, right? It's not, anyway.
Yeah.
Keep going. That's actually a neat way of looking at it.
Right. And to what you said, like to what Tom said about, it's like we're programmed to almost do this. It's true. Like we learn to look for what's wrong. Like we even say to people, what's wrong? What's the matter? Like in a negative way. And when we start looking for things, we're going to find what we're looking for. That's just how we're wired. Like the more you focus on something, as they say, focus expands it. It brings it closer to you. So while you're always looking for what's wrong, you're going to find it. And you wonder why do I notice all this wrong stuff? And we eat. The perfect example is what came out in the news with the CEO who was cheating, I guess. And he got caught on the Jumbotron. Not like everybody's talking about them like maybe in the worst way, or a lot of people are talking about them in the worst way because it's like, aha, you did something wrong and we caught you for doing something wrong. And like you said, it might not even be that black and white. We don't know what's going on inside their household. We don't know if that was approved or not approved. It doesn't matter. People are looking for what's wrong, and then they're trying to enforce those rules, but we can't be apart from the rules that we enforce.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of looking at it, that too, I think.
Yeah, that is actually a really interesting way. But, that is way too logical, if I'm being candid with you. Like, people aren't going to like that, man. Like,
I almost feel like it's that hypocrisy that we all have, right? Sure. If you're pointing your finger through, you're pointing back at you. We say that all the time, but we're like, well, I had a reason. I had an excuse. This is my... So it's okay if I did it, but if this other person did it, then shame on them.
Yeah.
And it's true. I forget the quote and I can't remember it, so I won't even attempt to pretend I know it, but it was something along the lines of like, if you're looking for anger or happiness, you're sure to find what you're looking for, kind of thing. Like, it's like, so, all right, go. So where do we go from here, man? What's next?
So, okay. Yeah. So from here, one of the things that the Course said, the Course in Miracles, was saying that teaching and learning are one. Like, if you teach something, you have to have learned it well enough to teach it. If you're learning something, you have to learn it so well that, you can teach. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I got you.
We got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was like, man, okay, I really do want to learn this because, again, the Course in Miracles is saying pain is not real. I obviously don't like pain. I don't want pain. Let me lean into this before I make my judgments about how real pain is. And so just along those lines, I was willing to follow it through. So I was like, okay, I got to teach this somehow. How am I going to teach it? Through music. I have experience teaching other subjects in music because I have a company called Every Child Wins, where we teach like educational songs for kids to learn things easily through music. And I was like, I wonder if I can do this with these spiritual principles in a practical way. So started making a few songs and they were good. It wasn't too corny. It wasn't overly preachy. I was like, I have something here, but I don't know if the public will accept it. So I let some people hear it. They said it was good, but they're my friends. Of course, they're going to say that. I ended up going to an open mic in London. I had visited London just to visit. I was like, I'm gonna go to an open mic. If nobody knows me here and I bomb, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm in London. They don't know me. I went. I got an overwhelming response. Like the crowd was so involved. People were telling me stories. The energy was off the hook. Even the host at the end of it, he said, "You see this here? You did that." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said the same people come to these open mics every week. They give the same lackluster performance, but everybody brought their A game. In fact, like everybody was collaborating at the end of it. And to me, it's just, oh, this is just how y'all do things. He's like, no, this is something new that based on the energy you brought. So I was like, okay, God, I hear you speaking to me. I have something. Let me move forward.
That's wild.
It is.
That's really cool, actually. That must have been super validating, right? Like, or maybe even surprising by the look on your face, right? Like, you're like, huh? yeah, right.
It was like they said a bouncer came from outside inside to see like who is this performing, and that felt good.
Yeah, sure.
Man,
why wouldn't it? Yeah,
that's to validate everything you were feeling is kind of
well, and that's the opposite of pain, right? You said, hey, I don't want to feel pain. You're like, this is now the exact opposite of that, right? Yeah. Cool. So now you know you're onto something, right? I guess that's kind of what I'm hearing.
What's the next step?
Yeah. So the next step I kept hearing, just finish the album. I'm like, how? I don't have money. I don't have just finish the album. Just finish the album. So I listened. I finished the album, put it out, got a nice response from it. Got decent results. Not where I want to be, but again, I'm kind of in this space of surrender. So I don't know what's for me and what's not for me. I don't know what's right and what's not right, so to speak. And that's part of it, like accepting that you're part of a higher power. And the best example I can give of that, just to illustrate it for people, is let's say you gave your 5 fingers consciousness. Your fingers are going to just be moving all over the place. I'm going to be the strongest finger in the world. I'm going to be the richest. Oh, I don't like this finger. I'm going to do that. So they never get to experience anything truly until they concede to the higher power, which is your mind. So now you can experience dribbling a basketball, holding hands, high-fiving, anything that you can do, picking up a heavy object. But until you work together in a sense and concede to the higher mind, you won't experience anything, which is kind of how I see humanity. Like we need to really come together to experience what humanity can truly be.
That's very cool. Also, another interesting way of looking at it. It's not, I don't say it's rare, but it is increasingly rare that someone brings multiple fire things that are like ways we haven't heard about. As you heard, we do cover a lot of the same topics over and over again, but I like your take on this a lot, actually.
It's always great to hear that the different takes too, right? Like you got, what do they say? There's a prophet for every person or something like that. Like you have to hear it a certain way for it to resonate. And I think we're hearing the same themes come up again and again, which is kind of cool for the podcast.
Right. But it's cool to have it what I really like about this, Jay, is that it's like easily contextualized, right? And I really loved your example of like dribbling a basketball or holding hands. Like those are things that would literally involve all 5 fingers. It's just a great way to package it up. So how do you translate that into music though?
Yeah, just by using examples, by repetition, by touching on themes that I know that they can relate, that people can relate to. Because everything is practical, but sometimes we make spiritual seem like this faraway thing, like, oh, I'm so spiritual and divine, you can't touch me or something. Like, no, it's in the everyday lessons. Like, in fact, like people don't like when people get triggered by others. But I love that now because it shows me the things I'm hiding from. It shows me the beliefs
Yeah.
that I'm scared of. Because why else would it trigger me? If it wasn't true, it wouldn't matter. But if I think it's true, it's like, shoot, why do I think this true? Why do I think this is true? Why did it make me so angry right now?
So is that like a yardstick you could use to be like, we need to put some thought behind this?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Whenever I'm triggered.
Yeah. Man, I should probably do that a little bit more. I'm triggered all the fucking time. Man.
Well, Matt, like that's one of the core things in that Course of Miracles is like, how do you I don't have a better word, so I'm gonna use the word evolve past that which upsets you. Like if it doesn't upset you, it has no power over you. I mean, I think Warren Buffett said something about, was it Warren Buffett? Fuck, I'm going to quote the wrong person. But basically, if you sit there in silence and somebody's flipping out at you, they don't have any power over you, right? Their words, if you're allowing yourself to get upset by everything, that has power.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, somebody had said on this show too, like life has no meaning except what we give it. And I was like, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting
pretty
little
heavy
tidbit too. Yeah. But what's funny though, like we're almost like the cards are stacked against us now because everything we consume online specifically is algorithmically driven, right? Which is intended to piss you off. It's like, it's supposed to trigger you. Like that's like what it's doing on purpose. So like we live in this world of constant intentional triggering. And so it does seem like almost like a mission impossible situation to evolve past that. If every time you open your fucking eyes, there it is, somebody's triggering you again on purpose. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go. I was done. I'm done.
So it's twofold. So in one, like, seek and you shall find, that what you look for, you'll find it. I noticed that my algorithm started to change as I started to change, as I started to.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Let in different things, want to listen to different things and feed myself, things of a certain nature. But the other part of it is when you start investigating why it's triggering you, you realize like, oh, this is really nothing. I was fearful of this because of XYZ, but if XYZ is not even really true, what am I mad about? And the thing is, we may have learned lessons when we were 6 or 7 years old that we carried as truth into our upper ages, but that was a 6 and 7 year old's mind. We never re-investigated to see.
Yeah,
sure.
Was that true? Was I wise to think that? That's the wisdom of a kid. Like, I have this newfound wisdom. Why am I still holding on to this child's belief?
Yeah, and you see that every minute of every day, and not so much with the people we talk to on the show, but it is jaw-dropping, but no longer surprising anymore, I guess. So I should take that back. It's no longer jaw-dropping, but everyone's got 100 of those things that can come up in any meaningless conversation, right? Anything. People are like, oh, and if you peel it back, you're like, yeah, where did you hear that? Is that like
where's that trauma from?
Yeah, like that trauma's from like Nancy Reagan, right? Like, I mean, that shit's old, man. Like, like I don't know what that is. And it's very hard. I mean, do you find it gets easier as you sort of lean into this?
Yes, it gets a lot easier.
Right.
But one thing about A Course in Miracles, they push forgiveness on you. Like, it's one of the biggest things.
Okay, got it.
And forgiveness is both the easiest and hardest thing to do at the same time, because it's easy because it's just like letting something go. I'm holding a pen, let it go. It's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
But to hold on to pain, like I'm going to be mad at this person. I'm happy right now, but when this person walks in the room, I'm going to bring up all my pain and hold on to it so that they know. And it's hard. What makes it hard is your ego. You're like, I can't let them off the hook. I can't do this. But letting it go does more for you than it does for them. It still does good for them, but it does a lot of good for you. And if we're willing to forgive, it just makes that whole process easier and easier.
You know what I have found my biggest lesson that somebody taught me years and years ago that I think was the biggest toxic thing ever, and I fight with it every day, is that it's like a you versus the world, right? You've heard this before, right? Like it's us versus the world, right? It puts you in a predominantly combative mindset about anything. Somebody cuts you off at a traffic light. Somebody cuts in front of you at the grocery stores. I mean, like it's anything. It's like, and I have to constantly like stop myself because, some idiot pulls out in traffic and, you know, they're on their phone.
Doesn't look at all. Yeah.
Doesn't look. They're on their phone. They're sipping a drink from Starbucks, and all I want to do is judge them and run them into a ditch, you know? And I'm like, why? Like, this is crazy. Like, why would I? That literally happened yesterday, which is why I have that example. Like, she literally just kept coming out. I saw her coming off of the side street, and the lady never even pretended to stop. Like, it was just, and in going into oncoming traffic at 50 miles an hour. Like, so I have to like literally slam on my brakes. I narrowly miss hitting her. She is literally drinking like a boba tea or something from Starbucks and like on her phone. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this lady almost killed me. And moreover, I almost killed her. And I, for like 3 seconds, got so angry. And then I'm like, I don't care. She's
why are we holding this? Yeah.
But that's hard as shit to do unless you're actively taking a driver's position in that car and be like, I got to get out of this lane. Like, this is nuts, you know?
And what helped me with stuff like that, because even yesterday, something happened to me similar in traffic. Somebody just came on out in a movie theater doing like 30 miles an hour in the parking lot, didn't even look who was coming, but it just rolled off me. But the reason is, every now and then, if you're honest with yourself, you do something stupid while driving. And I'm like, I can't believe I did that. I apologize.
Yeah.
That was, and that could have been them in that moment, just not realizing it.
I just triggered somebody else really badly with that dumb decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that, Tom, you said something earlier, but we just had this as well come up. It's like, you know, when you get into some of these like belief systems and modalities, right? Like we talked about auras and reading people's auras and stuff. And you talk about energy and vibration healing and stuff like that, right? And what is funny, you get a couple of these people that are like, oh man, I'm into auras, right? Like auras are cool and everything's real about auras.
Yeah.
But that vibration thing seems a little sus. So no, that's fucked up. No,
that's where I draw my
like,
line.
I draw the line, man. No, vibrations aren't real. You're an idiot. Like, you know, and you do see that, unfortunately, even in this sort of more expanded mindset, you do unfortunately run into that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm actually shocked by that too, like how certain people are so spiritual in certain ways, but then they'll have, I don't want to say problems, they'll perceive themselves as having problems where they can't get over it. And I'm like, this is the same thing. You can apply this same energy to
you
this.
could have already fixed this. Yeah.
Right. But I think it's like, well, this one might have been a little hill and that one might be a mountain for them, right? Like maybe the reason they're hanging on to it, that, you know, somewhere in their past is bigger than something else, right? You know, like, oh, that happened. Oh, okay, no big deal. I'm not that scarred there. But somewhere else you have a big, you know, wound and you're like, no, that one I can't let go. You know, and I guess it's the process of healing. You know, the more you do it, the better you get at it, the bigger the issue you can let go of.
That's so true.
That is weird. It's funny to me because we talked about this at the beginning, Jay. It's like kind of the same answer almost all the time. Like, be quiet long enough to find the right answer. And so like we can go through like courses on meditation and courses on this and, you know, music with you and all this other stuff. But like at the end of the day, for us personally, you got to just kind of put in the work to do it. And I feel like when I talk to people that are stuck somewhere, it's just because, like Tom was saying, like they're not doing the work. They just haven't. They haven't even attempted to get on the path to doing that, which, you know, maybe comes, maybe doesn't, but it's exhausting. Like, if I'm being honest, right? Like, to have to do this with every little thing, life is complicated, man. I got kids, I got a mortgage, I've got a podcast, you know, I got a company, I got stuff. And there's always like a mountain to climb, Tom, to use your...
Oh, yeah. I mean, there always is. You know, we see it in clinic all the time. Somebody will come in with a laundry list of things, and rather than dealing with what's in front of them, they're like, do you know what my friend did? And it's like, dude, you limped in here. What do you give a shit about what your friend thinks? They're your friend, you know, forgive it, let it go. But it happens time and time again. I'm sure I fucking do it 20 times a day.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I'm passionate about, because we don't realize, one, how much we do it, and how easy the work is, though. Like we think the work is very hard. Like, I don't want to look at myself, but it's just that we have a habit of not really looking at ourselves. So we take the road that's easily traveled. We're like, oh, okay, the paper folds this way, I'm gonna keep folding it this way.
Yeah.
When really it doesn't take much to fold a paper a different way, but we're just in the groove of going the same way we always
Yeah,
went.
this is how you do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm a guy who also was taught a bad lesson about efficiency, right? Like it's like, okay, find the most efficient way to do something, and then that's the way to do it, right? And so a lot of times, especially with stuff that I do a lot, funny, brushing my teeth, right? Can you think about how you brush your teeth? Do you ever change it? It's always the same order. You start at the same place. It's like, like you don't reinvent brushing your teeth every time you brush your teeth, right? But one of the things they said in that book, Moonwalking with Einstein, if you want time to pass slower, do things differently than you did yesterday, right? Like, so take a different route to work, because like you hypnotize yourself during that time that you're doing it, and you don't recognize the passage of time. So your days go by faster as you get older because you fill your life with things that are just like that. I brush my teeth the same way. I walk to get coffee in the morning the same way. I drive to work the same way. And oftentimes when I do let myself experience somebody else's way of doing it, I realize that like, yeah, that was efficient for me, but they actually have a better idea I never like thought about. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, I should probably look into this.
Yeah. I love that. Like even the brush your teeth thing on social media, my algorithm showed me about a year ago, somebody said, yeah, if you want change, brush your teeth with the other hand. I was like, let me try that. It was awkward. It took 6 months for me to fully be all right with it. But now I brush my teeth with the other hand. I don't know why. It was interesting.
This was a thing,
me.
yeah.
It also stimulates the other side of your brain. I remember my father's a talent agent, and we were talking to one of his magicians, and he said, look, if you want to get really good at juggling or anything that requires some dexterity, just start using your other hand for everything. Try writing. You'll look like you can't write, but slowly but surely, as that gets refined, you're creating new neural pathways as well. So, what we think about, we wire, which is a pretty cool thing too,
Yeah. And we see that a lot in martial arts. You do a lot of cross median work where you'll throw a punch across your body's midline or something like that. You do a lot of work like that to try to feel how both sides of your body work together. I actually get very uncomfortable using my left hand. I'm right-handed. And like, so I do it for like 30 seconds. I'm like, I have like a visceral reaction. I'm like, no.
What's funny, Matt? Years and years and years, I'm a lefty. And everything, right? I always heard like there's no left-handed samurai, right? Everything was right-handed. And once that started to get more comfortable, that's when like whole systems would start to click in. Oh, I understand why we're moving like that. But like I was moving at half the speed of some of my other, some of the other students in the class.
Oh, wow.
It's a great lesson,
Yeah, and speaking of that, so I do martial arts as well. I do Taekwondo, and
Okay.
I'm left-handed. I'm more dominant on my left foot, but I notice how strong my right leg is because I'm always kicking on my left foot. Well, I'm always wanting to, and like my right leg is just so dominant now because it's holding the brunt of
posting
that.
you up, yeah.
Right. So like that just opened my mind to how every perceived weakness can be a strength as well if we allow ourselves to see it.
Yeah. How long you been doing Taekwondo?
So I started back again in July, but 10 plus years ago, I did it for 2.5 years.
Okay, cool.
So I'm almost a second degree black belt.
Wow,
cool.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm in jiu-jitsu, Okinawan jiu-jitsu, not the cage fighting one, not the Brazilian side, but Tom's got experience in it as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
not
fun.
jiu-jitsu. No,
not jiu-jitsu.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, martial arts in general.
Martial arts in general. Yeah.
Tom's more of a Chinese guy, though.
I don't know if we can. I don't know how well that phrase reads.
Well, I mean, Chinese martial art guy.
Chinese martial arts. Yes.
I mean, yeah. But it's funny because I'm Japanese decidedly. Tom is Chinese.
But but I do a Japanese style of acupuncture, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that is okay.
Yeah.
PhD in Chinese medicine, Chinese martial arts, and Japanese.
Well, they don't. Japanese systems tend to be smaller, and everything came from China. So all the education primarily is Chinese, and then
I gotcha.
People stick around for what they want to learn.
Yeah. So Jay, we're making music now. I want to kind of
I
feel where this goes. We meander. Yeah, but let's get back to the music here real quick. So feels like you found your groove. You're in it now. is that sort of where you're at now, or did we have a couple of things that happened after that, or what?
It's probably where I'm at. So, okay. The things that happened between that. So I quit my job. I didn't put this in there. So for like 14 years, I worked at NASA, or a subcontractor of NASA here in Houston. And the whole time when I was trying to make it as an artist, like that was my day job, and I had my night job that people didn't know about. But what was funny was, like, every day I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to do music full time, but I had fear. How would I sustain myself?
Right.
All of that stuff. And once I kind of discovered A Course in Miracles, again, I'm applying this. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to work happy. I'm going to make the most of every single day at work. And I started doing this. I started mentoring the younger kids coming in. I'm just taking care of all my responsibilities, doing it fast, having a good time, still having time to just do what I want to do. Like, they have a very nice campus at NASA. I used to just walk around all day, but still got my work done. And so I think maybe about a year into doing that, the stars aligned and I was able to finally quit my job. And I was amazed by, like, man, what if that was the whole lesson the whole time? Just show up happy, do your best, like genuinely happy, like not I'm faking it. Like, I'm going to really find a way to love this. And then I was able to exit. So that was pretty cool. But to further answer your question, moving along and making music now, I think it was around 2020 is when COVID was happening. My financial reserves depleted. They were gone. I was living off credit cards. I was trying to do other things, and doubt crept in, fear crept in. The things that I thought I had overcome, but I realized I still had certain blocks when it came to money. So that was the next challenge of that time.
Yeah, gotcha. What were you doing at NASA? I'm just curious.
Well, I have a degree in computer science, so it was just programming and stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I found out a couple years ago that guy Mark Roper was an engineer at NASA, and that just fucking blew my mind every time. The guy's like making squirrel obstacle courses now and making it.
That's probably his most famous video.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, talk about following your joy.
Yeah,
right? Like, that guy was probably not envisioning.
He said, I remember watching where he's like, he told his parents he was quitting NASA, and they were like, "The fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, you won. What are you doing? And he was like, no, I want to make videos
of squirrels. Yeah. And elephant toothpaste. Yeah. Don't forget about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
So like, what was the deal with the financial reserves? Was the music not working out at first? Like, is that,
or was it just the madness of COVID?
It was all of it. Like music is not in. I'm being careful with my words. At the time, I didn't really know how to monetize, and in some ways, I'm still learning that how to fully monetize just musically, because I do have other things to supplement my income now. But it was more a lesson on me trusting, like fully surrendering. Like, I'm saying I'm fully surrendering, and now there's this other way that I'm fearful of, so I'm not surrendering. I'm doubting myself. I'm doubting that God has something for me. And so it's playing out in real time, and I'm really watching my thoughts around this, like, this is interesting. And so, if I'm being honest, I went through a period where I said, like, forget all this. I'm just gonna work hard. I did. I got a lot of money from it, but my health was deteriorating. I was feeling bad about myself because I was forcing the issue. I wasn't allowing it, and all of these things. And it came to a point where I said, okay, I'm letting this go. Whatever happens. If I end up homeless, so what? Which I won't end up homeless, but I just had to get to that point to start, one, allowing more income to come in an easier way, but also get out of this rut and learn these financial lessons that I needed.
Cool. And so COVID gets done. Does that sort of like help grease the groove a little bit, or?
It kind of helped in a sense. Well, okay, it hindered and helped, but the way it helped was creditors and things were very understanding.
Sure.
Because everybody was just in a certain situation.
Yeah.
But it also allowed me to figure out how I wanted to live in this world where I'm this music maker, I'm this content creator. How do I want to help people? It just brought like new facets to all of it, and still making music at the same time.
So how many albums you got now?
So I only have one album out.
Okay.
The second one is coming out in November.
Okay.
But I did have a period in 2021, I think, in 2022, where I released a song a week for 26 weeks. So that's
Wow.
that's
Wow.
a little over an album of songs, but yeah.
A little. I'd say
That's like
that's a lot
3
over
albums
an
there
album.
at
Yeah,
least.
that's like 2 or 3
Yeah.
albums at least. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And-
it
And those
is-
don't count. Are those not songs on your album?
Are they
Like those are just separate?
singles?
Yeah, they're separate. But it was just an exercise because I wanted to build my catalog, and I liked it because there are so many songs that wouldn't have been made because they wouldn't have quite made it on the album. They would have, but an album is like a collection of thoughts.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that first album that I said when I heard Keep just finished the album, that's more to take you from wherever you're at to a higher state. Like you're gonna be elevated by the time you get to the end of the album, and you're gonna have new thoughts that are formulating in your mind.
Right. And it's funny you talk about the album being the package. I don't know if we want to get into this too much, but I do miss what they call it. The 13th song is the album. It's like you've got the order of the songs is important, and how to build that story and how to tell a musical tale, if you will.
Mm.
And now in an MP3 generation, like you're just song driven, right? It's not about, there is no 13th song.
Even when there were CDs, you still had the cover art, you still had
sure
the inside
notes.
jacket, the liner notes, all of it. And now, like, wow, we sound so fucking old, don't we?
Well, we do, but it's also a different thing, right? It does sound old, but it's also a different thing. It's not, you can't really compare the two because they're not the same,
I think that's why vinyl probably never completely died, right? It was like, no, there's an experience of putting that record on and dropping the needle and then looking at the back cover and you know. Anyway, that's
and my 17-year-old is all about vinyl now, like, and all his friends, like they're all
yeah. I mean, it's funny. The coffee shop I go to, I'm like, that's a brand new album, and you have it on vinyl.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because that's what all the kids are doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You go to Target, they've got a huge vinyl section. Like, I'm like, really? This is wild. Like,
is that just for funsies? What is that for?
Dude, he went to my mother-in-law's house and totally pillaged her vinyl collection from like forever ago, right? She's in her 70s, almost 80, and so he comes home with like a Rolling Stones album. And
he's
probably
got First Prince. He's probably got some really expensive albums.
Shit. Yeah. And he's like, dude, it was amazing. And meanwhile, my mother-in-law's like, didn't even know I still had that thing. It's probably 30, 40 years old. Yeah.
And I still like the album that's out on my website. I still have physical CDs because I know people like that. I'm a fan of that too. Like, you're reading the notes, you see the lyrics in there. Like,
yeah. So, all right. So the new album coming out, like, so talk to me about like sort of the vision of that. Are we leaning in on the spirituality side? Like, how does that manifest in the new album?
Yeah. So how this is different, like it's all spiritual, like it's all has the same thing. I would say this one is more, it's a mix between kind of writing out where you are, like being okay with where you are, but also it may reach a few of the lower levels, if that makes sense. Like,
what are those? Talk to me about that for a second.
So the lower levels are like, there's some people that really want spirituality. They want what it stands for. They want that relationship with God or their higher self and things. They don't know how to go about it. They're kind of in that angry space where, like, you're mad, but you shouldn't be mad, but you just can't understand it. Like, it just, everything hurts. And I feel like a lot of the songs on here speak to that space. Fortunately enough, I didn't share this. So when I was studying A Course in Miracles heavy, when I was new to it and following the lessons, there was a week, like a full 7 days, where I just felt off. I felt sad. I felt angry. And it was because I really realized that I wasn't my past. Like, you have things that happen in your past that define you. And it's almost like a battle scar. It gives you strength. But I was like, I don't want this pain to symbolize me. And I was understanding it. I just wasn't living it yet. And it was like I was almost mourning myself, like the self that I thought I was. It was almost like I was saying goodbye to him, and it felt awkward for a while. And so this song would kind of speak to people in that state. I mean, a few of the songs.
You think it was like kind of a dark night of the soul there, or was it? just kind of, hey, I'm struggling with dealing with this concept?
No, I understood the concept fully. Like
Okay.
I could conceptualize it, but it was just like, man, I spent so much time, I spent so much anger, I fought so much over this stuff.
Yeah, so maybe some of the guilt and everything, huh?
Right. It was the guilt. It was feeling stupid. It was all of that. And then once I let it all go, it was like they say, like everything was of a new color, the same blue sky, but it was just a little bit brighter. It was like, wow, this is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, no, that is wild. And actually, you know, I realized you and I, we met you through Betty Gardano, who was on our show. You didn't have like a near death situation, did you? Or
no? I didn't. I actually met Betty through I think it was Instagram. She posted something with the tag A Course in Miracles. I saw it, and then we just kind of struck up a friendship.
She was talking a lot about that on our show too. Yeah.
What I like, you know, it's funny. I like Betty, and the reason I brought her in is I was curious if there was any sort of deeper connection with you two, because what I really liked about her, similarly to what I like about you, is that she just really submitted to the process. Like she just let go of
surrendered everything. Yeah.
And she had a ton to let go of. Like, I mean, that woman
her story is crazy.
Down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bonkers. I mean, she has one of the most intense stories I've ever heard. Right.
I think probably on our show. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the difference. I don't know if you've seen some of her videos when she was using.
Oh,
you
dude.
The side-by-side photos are crazy.
Yeah. We only had one other person. Remember, she ate like rotten carrot cake, and like it was a whole thing.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, we had one other person who sort of like got close to as dark as Betty got, but not quite. But it's interesting because even her was a similar story, right? Like there had to be this sort of moment.
I had to go through a transformative but painful situation.
Right. Yeah, there had to be this moment. An inflection moment, aha moment, of see God, whatever you want to call it. But like there was this moment.
Come to Jesus.
Come to Jesus moment. Like where she was just like, these people are like, no, this shit can't stay on. I can't keep doing this. This is nuts.
It's not healthy. Yeah.
I often joke with her because like she doesn't see it this way, but you know how I say like your thoughts lead to your destiny. She was talking about her mindset in that when she was getting high and stuff. And she said she was in a space where she believed it was going to lead her to God. She was going to get high enough to get to God. And it actually happened, but it just had an effect where she didn't need to use anymore.
Watch what you ask for.
Watch what you, be careful what you wish for, man. Yeah.
It's like that bumper sticker. Keep driving. You know, if you love Jesus, keep driving like that. You'll meet him.
Oh man, that's funny. So when you do this music, I'm curious, do you sort of have a live experience as well that you pair along with this? Like, is that something you do? Do you perform this often?
Sometimes, not often. I'm starting to get back into performances. Like,
okay.
It's weird because I enjoy performing, but I enjoy home so much more. And it's like, but I won't turn down a performance. So if somebody says, hey, you want to come out and perform, or hey, we want you to come here, it's me surrendering, like, yes, I'm going to go. But for me, seeking it out just on my own, I know I can because I've done it before, but I don't know. I'm just a homebody that loves home.
I mean, I feel like there's like such a natural fit for you in a bunch of environments with that kind of, between the messaging and maybe the musical content itself. I mean, I feel like it's an easy layup to, you know, a variety of places. Actually, we could probably peel back a couple of them, you know, like, I don't know, any kind of spiritual gathering. You know, there's no shortage of like plant-based medicine retreats and everything like that might be a place that, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of things I could see this being sort of applicable to.
Yeah.
But not only that, like surprisingly to the things that you wouldn't think, like the type of clubs and things that you wouldn't think would want this message, they receive it well.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I have a song called Let Go, which is one of my most popular songs. No matter which crowd I perform that in, like it's a what's the word? Not necessarily a standing ovation, but like you can see the reverence for it. Like the people are kind of waking up a bit, like, wow, like that is
get it.
Yeah. The vibration energy kind of rises up a little bit, right? You're like, okay, this isn't. That's got to be fun to watch too, you know. Like, I mean, that's just got to be kind of neat. I'm not a musician. I've played a bunch of music instruments. I love the act of playing music. I'm just not consistently caring enough about it to ever gotten good at a musical instrument. So I definitely I get
You know,
very awe-inspired when people can kind of see it through. You know what I mean?
I love the fact that, and I think, Jay, you might be a little bit like this. I know so many people that have like some musical, or the great actors, and at the end of the day, they're really introverted, right? It's like hard for them to go out and do that, but they do that and they perform, and then they kind of they kind of Johnny Carson if they go back into their cave until they're until they're called out again.
Yeah. Well, somebody said something to me once that kind of hit home. They're like, introvert and extrovert is just how you recharge your battery. It has nothing to do with what you actually do.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Hear
Like
that. Yeah.
So like you could be a homebody, Jay, and like that's how you recharge. But you could also go out and be like, Gene Simmons on stage and with makeup and going crazy and like, you could do anything you want as flamboyantly externally as you want, but like that introvert is just how you sort of like regroup.
That's true. And one thing that you said was that it's fun to watch, like the energy change. And I want to share that everyone can do this. So even though I'm in this space, I'm still, a part of me is like, I can't believe I'm in this space. This is crazy. Whereas what I learned from Course in Miracles, if you lead with love, it's almost like either the person in front of you has to leave if they don't want to match it, or they're going to match it. And it's the most beautiful thing to witness, and funny thing too. Like somebody's angry at me, I'm like, in my mind, watch this. They're not going to be angry anymore. And it's like a cool thing, but it's genuine though. It's not like I'm trying to take advantage of them. It's like, no, I'm looking at you with true, genuine love, and it's beautiful to witness.
Right. And that's got to be unnerving for a lot of people because, like I said, I think people's default mode is this sort of combative thing these days, right? Like it's me versus the world, right? I'm not the only one who feels like that, right? It's not crazy. Like it's not very evolved all the time, but it's not. I mean, we're just conditioned to do that. So I could see that being very off-putting to people. Be like, what? Especially if they weren't going. I think it's one thing if they were going there looking for that. Right. Like if they went to your show or put on your CD specifically because they knew they were going to get there, that's probably not unnerving. But if you were just there with like a friend and you weren't really there for a journey of any kind, and now all of a sudden you're on this ride, I think that could be probably a little hard to deal with.
So it would seem so, but like it appeals to their side too. Like everybody wants to be loved and respected. And when you realize you can drop your guard, it's the most fulfilling thing. So we have time. Yeah, I'll share this real quick.
Oh man, we're good.
Yeah, you're fine, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was playing basketball. This was right before COVID. So maybe like January, February or something of 2020. And me and this guy going at it. I hadn't met him before. He was a tall guy. I like to play defense, and we're going at it, talking a lot of stuff. And something happened. I accidentally hit him in the head or something. Not intentional, just going for a rebound. And because we talked so much stuff, he ran up on me, and there was that space before you're about to fight. Like we all been there. Like
sure.
The fight is about to happen.
This is happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I was standing there, and a lot went through my head because I am a black belt in Taekwondo. I said, okay, I'm gonna sweep him when he falls to the ground. I'm gonna hit him. And then I'm running away. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna come back to this park because I don't know who's friends with who, all of this. And so, but I said, no, you know what? I'm learning all this stuff. I'm preaching this stuff. I'm preaching the Course in Miracles, and it's helping people. It's helping me. I have to see if this is really real. And so I dropped my guard and I looked at him with all the love that I could muster. And in this moment, this all happened in 1 second, by the way. And in this moment, he could have did anything. He could have knocked me out. Which I would have been fine with because I had to see if this was true. But the moment I did that, he said, you know what? I'm getting too serious. I'm going to check myself out of the game. We've been so cool ever since. He even nicknames me the most positive person ever. And it's just cool to see. And since then, like I've had enough courage to do that in any other conflict so that there are no more conflicts.
What does that look like? Is it just a glance? Is it an energy you put out? Is it a little bit of everything? Like what does that look like?
It's everything. It's like you surrender to the moment. It's almost like you're in awe, but it's not that you're in awe of the person. You're just in the flow of the moment. And I guess where I got it from is just from meditation, just practicing that letting go feeling and bringing that into the moment in front of somebody.
And I've noticed too, like as I meditate every day. We've talked about meditation a million times. I've been doing meditation in some way or the other for, I don't know, 20 years. But there's an energy in somebody's eyes when they get into that sort of meditative way. Does that make sense? Like
that's space. Yeah.
It's just like you could look at somebody and know if they're lying to you. You could look at them and tell if they're comfortable with the situation, if they're not comfortable. Like it's like, but only if you're really looking for it, right? Like if you know what to look for, it is probably easier than if you're not. Like take somebody off the street who's never meditated. I don't know if it's as easy to spot, but that's why I was asking him, like, what does that look like? Did you just throw that energy at him? And he was like, yeah, no, this ain't happening.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Cause I mean, I like to say like, it's what happens with a baby. You know, we're very, production driven society. Like you got to be productive, you got to produce. And, you know, if you're just consuming, you're doing it wrong. But babies, they can't do anything but consume, yet they command the energy of any room. Like they can make the most hardened faces smile. They're just that pure love, that pure joy. And we can all channel that whenever we want to. We just forget that we can.
Yeah. What was that movie, that Christmassy movie where as you get to be an adult, you don't hear the jingle bell anymore, the sleigh bell.
That was a book. Polar Express.
Polar Express. Yeah. I always thought that message was kind of interesting, right? Because Jay, I hear you. When I was a kid, I also don't know what to call it, but I felt like I just saw something that nobody else saw, or knew something that nobody else knew. You know, and like somewhere along the way that goes away, right? It's like the sleigh bell, I don't hear it anymore, right? And like, so things like this, conversations like we're in with you, it's like you get to hear it again, right? You know, it's like you get to, oh, that's what that was, right, right. Cool. So what's next for you, man? You got an album coming out? Like, is that where we're focusing in our energy, or like, what's the future
the album.
look like for you?
The next single releases on August 29th, and it's called "This Is God," which is it's not what it might seem from the title, but it's just more like, even in the bad situations, this is God. Like, you know, I talked about the quote unquote bad stuff that happened in my life, but is it really bad if it led to me being where I am now? And I really do enjoy where I am. Sure.
Yeah. It's that Chinese proverb that everybody likes to quote. Good, bad, who knows kind of thing. Yeah. Like,
it's a good story.
We'll see how it goes. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard that, but it's cool. Cause you're like, yeah, I don't know. This could be
good
terrible.
news, bad news. Who knows?
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, where do we find you, Jay? Like, I mean, how do we, like, I want to send people your way. I want to help you in any way we can.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Go to JClay.org. That's my website. My music under JClay, JClay, is on all the streaming platforms. And my social media is JClay first, JClay 1ST on almost all platforms.
I love that you're a .org. You're like, I'm a .org.
I'm an organization.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
It's actually a funny story about that though. I started back as a producer, and JClay.com was taken. This was back in like in 2000, when the internet was kind of still new, and .com was taken. And I was like, I don't know what .org is, but I'm going to take it. And I just kept it ever since.
Kept rolling with it.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Who owns JClay.com? You know that guy?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It may not even be like a guy. It could be a company or something, you know?
Well, yeah. I'm just curious. I'm like, somebody bought it for something, right?
And I've made jingles with JClay.org. So JClay.com doesn't even sound right to me anymore.
Yeah. Now you're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, there's definitely a uniqueness to it, right?
Yeah. Well, and it also feels a little bit more mission driven rather than commercially driven.
Because you're not a commerce.
Yeah.
Commodity.
But I mean, you are, but I mean, you seem to be relating to the mission of your music a little bit more than the actual music itself. Like it's like, seems almost, I don't want to say secondary, but it's the delivery mechanism for the message. It's not, you know, which feels a little bit more in line with the .org than it does with the .com, right?
Yeah, it kind of does. You're right.
Yeah, it works. See, look, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, it was awesome talking to you. I think it's great. When your single drops, if you said it's like, what'd you say, the 26th? I think you said
the 29th, August.
29th. Okay. When's the next one? What's the next one after that? Because I don't think we can get you ready by the 29th, but we could probably get you ready. By the
29th of August, though.
Right.
Oh, August. Oh, shit. You'll be up.
You'll be up before that.
Yeah, you'll be up way before then. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. We'll link to that too when it comes out. I'd love to, like I said, spread the word. We love helping our guests out as much as we can. And
cool.
And man, it was awesome having you here. I learned a lot from you. Actually, that was really cool. It was a good conversation.
Jake, before we part, can I say one thing? Matt has done this whole thing where he sends out this amazing, like, here's what we need you to do. You were one of the few that not only like responded to it, like, yes, I'll be there. Normally they're like, yeah, see you then. You were like, yep, I read this. I'm going to show you that I read it. I'll be in a quiet space. I'll have a good microphone.
Show your work.
I know we're using the Riverside link. And I'm like, this guy actually read the fucking email.
Yeah.
Like, it was the weirdest thing. But I appreciate that, man.
That's funny. Yeah. Good call out. Yeah, for sure. We're busy, man. People show up. They're like, at a window with like light coming right in. We're like, okay,
they're also like, look, how long is this going to be? Because I got to get somewhere. We're like, okay.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah, no
cool,
problem.
man. Well, listen, fellas, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks again. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
See ya.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.